Did you know that Saruman the White in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings was supposed to be, I kid you not, Saruman the Rainbow? Peter Jackson's always excellent trilogy changed a number of things from the Tolkien books, and this one I think is actually one of the more important revisions if you want to understand the heart of Tolkien's Middle-earth and what the author wanted this story to teach us. You're watching Geeky Stoics, a channel all about philosophy and pop culture that can help you in your daily life. And this key detail from Lord of the Rings has been on my mind lately. As any Rings fan knows, Gandalf visits his old friend Saruman the White at the Tower of Isengard to consult with him about the One Ring and the rise of Mordor. Saruman quickly begins to act creepy and reveals to Gandalf that he has been keeping tabs on Sauron with Palantir, a magic orb of great power that has allowed him to study the Dark Lord and his dark magic, thus becoming more knowledgeable and powerful himself. Saruman declares to Gandalf that he is not merely Saruman the White, but Saruman the Wise, Saruman the Ringmaker, and Saruman of Many Colors. In this moment, Gandalf now notices that Saruman's robe is woven with colorful fabric that reflects and reveals color depending on the angle. Tolkien says it was woven of all colors, and if Saruman moved, they shimmered and changed hue so that the eye was bewildered. You can almost imagine oil on water or a chrome-like fabric. White had become too quaint for Saruman. It, of course, symbolizes purity, innocence, goodness, and in practice, simplicity. So in his wider understanding of magic, Saruman's largesse and pride led him to wear a rainbow-like robe. It's easy to see why Peter Jackson didn't do this in the live-action films. It would have been a touch strange on screen, but the message matters, and Gandalf's reply to Saruman of Many Colors is something Tolkien is trying to tell you and me.
I like white better,
says Gandalf. White, Saruman sneered. It serves as the beginning. White cloth may be dyed. The white page can be overwritten, and the white light can be broken. Gandalf replies, in which case it is no longer white, and he that breaks a thing to find out what it is has left the path of wisdom. And there it is, the white paper, blank page, green untamed meadows, the virgin. These things are not incomplete or inferior to their opposites. Complicating a simple idea with more knowledge is only useful insofar as it brings you closer to wisdom. And wisdom and knowledge are not the same thing. Knowing that a US dollar is composed of cotton, linen, embedded polyester nylon threads, and iron oxide-based magnetic inks doesn't mean that you know how to use a dollar well. Tolkien and his contemporary C.S. Lewis of the Chronicles of Narnia were vocal critics of the progressive era of the early 20th century and its attention paid to vivisection, or animal experimentation by scientists. Both found it appalling and a corrupting force on not just the scientist, but the society that had embraced the value of those scientific findings. We know this because most all of us have implicitly agreed to turn a blind eye to pharmaceutical testing on rodents if the tests help produce drugs that make human life longer and less painful, as if longevity of life and the absence of pain is the only measure of good. C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, both being at their prime of Oxford during the time of World War II and the Nazis, knew very well of the medical experimentation and eugenics occurring across Europe, and both traced that back to an original sin of vivisection, which led human beings to betray their custodial duties to animals, in turn betraying themselves and corrupting their own nature, which is not to dissect rabbits for science and poison rats and dogs. Saruman's shimmering cloak of many colors deceives the eye of Gandalf. This is important because it perfectly symbolizes how corruption and evil masquerade very often as wisdom. The more you know isn't actually a great way to live your life. There are, of course, things you don't want to know. evils you don't want to see or touch, and dark notions that once able to get a foothold in your mind will never fully leave. C.S. Lewis noted that the whole purpose of animals is for human beings to practice how they will treat other human beings. It is of course no use to be kind and gentle to a donkey if you turn around and are cruel and violent to your wife. How you relate to animals will reflect in how you relate to people. You know, the reason I did this video and even thought of Saruman of Many Colors in the first place is because of a new report from an organization called White Coat Waste. It's a watchdog group for animal experimentation, who reported this month that the Department of Defense had been getting millions of dollars to slice open the backs of adult male cats to deliver electric shocks to the cat's spinal column in order to produce erections. Yeah. Yes, this is real. They also, for reasons unknown, were having cats ingest marbles to try and pass them in their stools. This stuff is evil, and the people who do it or turn a blind eye to it do so most often in the name of curiosity or scientific discovery. Some things are not worth discovering. The ability to turn the white page red is not a justification to do so. Because I can is just the voice of the power-hungry. Responsibility and a sense of care for how we use power and what we don't touch. That is the difference between heroes and villains. I tend to think that this is why the notion of a gray Jedi is so popular when you talk to Star Wars fans. The gray Jedi, who chooses neither the Jedi nor the Sith religion, but sees a utility in both the light and the dark, everyone likes to fancy themselves the perfect, nuanced, and balanced soul who can handle the darkness and forces like anger, hate, and passion. But it's a trap. Remember Palpatine's dismissal of the Jedi in Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith.
If one is to understand the great mystery, one must study all its aspects, not just the dogmatic, narrow view of the Jedi, a larger view of the Force.
A larger view of the Force sounds really nice if you have supernatural degrees of self-control to never become over-reliant on those passions. We are not strong enough as human beings to know and hold all things. That's why I admire the Jedi way and their dogmatic approach to saying no to certain things.
You must take it!
You cannot offer me this ring.
I'm giving it to you!
Don't tempt me, Frodo.
Just like Gandalf would say no to using the Palantir, or Dumbledore would not condone using the dark arts outside of self-defense class. These things leave fingerprints on you. So instead, keep things simple. Love beauty for its own sake without trying to understand the scientific formula for it. Ask questions, but don't let knowing the machinery of every little thing take priority over awe and wonder at the universe. You don't need to know it all. Focus on making sure that what you do know is aligned with a higher truth and that you're using knowledge for virtuous ends. That is wisdom, and nothing is more important. Thank you for watching Geeky Stoics. There's more like this over at geekystoics.com, where you can join our free email newsletter. And before you head over, please do like and comment on this video, weigh in on the discussion, and subscribe to the channel for new videos every week. And that is a wrap.